So now we discussed the concept of complexity, and now we are going to turn ourselves to the concept of the emergence. Okay? And emergence is the way that complex systems and patterns arise out of multiplicity of relatively simple interactions. So here we have interactions, relatively simple interactions. Okay? This creates what? Complexity. And complexity creates what? Patterns. And these patterns is going to be the emergence. Okay? And this emergence is common. Emergence happens in natural world and also in artificial world, man-made world. For example, let's imagine this snowflake. Okay? This snowflake, it has such a beautiful shape, right? But did someone artificially created this shape? It's not. In the cloud, a water molecule being up and down, creating this snowflake and creating a crystal. And then when that snowflake becomes large enough and heavy enough, they fall down. And we see this result of the interactions as an emergence. Okay? These patterns, these beautiful patterns being emerged out of simple interactions between the water molecules. Okay? No one created, no one imposed these types of shapes so that these shapes are different to each other, heterogeneous. However, with these simple interaction rules, the water molecules were able to create as a whole these beautiful shapes. Okay? So that no one controls the emergence. These water molecules collective do that. A little bit bigger scale, for example, let's imagine this sand beach. We have sand, okay, sand particles all over this beach so that we can have nice time there. However, look at these patterns, okay? It has an interesting wave pattern, okay, erosion patterns of this over this beach by the sand, created by the sand. And this pattern is not being man-made. No one at the center being created this pattern. Okay? How come this pattern has been created? It is being created through the emergence. How? There are interactions between the environment. What environment? The wind, wave, creates this outside stimuli event, and the sand particles interact with each other, interact with wind, interact with the water, interact within each other. And this beautiful pattern, beach pattern, has been created. Someone created this pattern by hand. No one did that. So it's being complex interactions and resulted in as a form of emergence pattern. So I want to quote here Aristotle. Okay? Aristotle wrote his book Metaphysics and said this. Okay, it's an ancient language being translated into English, so that its translation is difficult to follow, but let's read out. The totality is not, as it were, a mere heap. Okay, so I'm now being an English teacher here. So this is one sentence, right? The totality, right? The totality is not a mere heap, okay, as it were. Right, it says this is total. It's not. The totality is not being defined as a mere heap. Okay, heap is what? Heap is like a data structure. In the data structure, I teach what? Binary heap. A tree-like shape which is being balanced, right? And we can put everything in here, So then it's like a garbage can, and we take out with some priority, right? That's the binary heap. And heap is like a holding place here in general word. And totality is not just a collection. It's not a mere collection. That's what Aristotle is mentioning. And what he says is, but the whole is something besides the part. Okay? Whole. In Korean, 전체, everything, 전체. Whole is something besides the parts. Whole is more than collection of parts. Okay? And also, whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Okay? Something besides the parts means that parts alone does not create the whole. It has something else. And what is that? That's the question. So parts alone, a just collection of parts, will not create the whole. What will create the whole? The interactions between the parts and its emergence. We have many examples in the real world. These are being natural entity being created through the emergence. However, let's see our urban space. Who created this soul, the cityscape, these skylines by the buildings? Did the mayor of the Seoul city created that? He can't, right? He can throw out some large interactions. However, residents create also its own contributions, some capitals create own contributions, and all these entities being together through the interactions and through the complexity and emergence, our cityscape and skylines are being created. So our man-made system, urban system, is a result of what? Emergence. It's not alone. Stock market movement. Some say stock market movement is a Brownian motion, randomly moving. True. True to model it as a stochastic process. However, those movements in the deep down, what you can see is the market participants being participating each other, interacting with each other through the stock market orders, and the emerging result is the stock market movement. World Wide Web and their linkages, their URL links, connection to each other, that is also emergence. Architecture and cities, even our language and culture is the emergence of each other, our population interaction within our population, and those emergence will result in our own language and culture. So that emergence is not just a snowflake or the beach patterns, or do you remember in the cell automata session, the shell shape, right? The triangular shell shape. It's not just those emergences. Many of our society hinges upon the complexity and emergence.